Okay, everybody, time now for What's Hot. This is where we spend a few minutes talking about the stories that has everybody talking.
And we're joined by John and Willow with Milwaukee social media. Plus, Jeff Wagner is always back here with us. Well, someone breaks into your home and you shoot them. We've all seen those cases. While you have the right to protect your home, it could cost you, and you could be held liable for thousands of dollars in damage. The big question today is how you can protect yourself from both legal and personal hurdles should you shoot an intruder. Jeff.
Well, I think one of the things that you have to realize is, first of all, I mean, there are insurance issues. The bigger picture here, and I mean, I went through this in another life when I carried a gun when I was a federal prosecutor. You have to think through different eventualities. It is an awful and awesome responsibility if you're carrying a firearm or if you're using a firearm. I mean, that is a big decision, and I do think people have to think ahead. What are the circumstances? And they have to be aware that there's going to be consequences. That's why people can't be trigger happy, because even if you don't get criminally prosecuted, other bad things can happen.
And it's not all just about litigation either. The toll that taking a life takes on you psychologically, if you're not a trained killer, is something that most people really don't understand until it happens to them for whatever reason.
John, I think it's important. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's okay.
But in Tom's story last night, one of the persons that he interviewed said, you know, once that bullet leaves the chamber, it can't come back. You know, so this is a very tough decision you have to make.
Well, you know, and the added thing also is you really have to think about, if I feel my life is in danger and I pull out that gun, am I really prepared to use it? Because the worst case scenario is you've got an intruder or something, you pull out the gun, you hesitate, then they take that gun away from you and they use it on you. I mean, so it's all these different things that go into this. It is an awesome responsibility if people are going to make the decision that they're going to own firearms.
Do you think people realize that when they, get their concealed carry permit and they start walking around with a gun on their hip?
I don't think a lot of people think it all the way through. And a lot of people, I would guess, don't have the context to understand how they would feel if they were actually in that situation. So no, to answer your question, I bet a lot of people don't think it all the way through.
Yeah, I agree with you, and that's why I would like to see, as at least part of a discussion that they have in the training that people get when you carry the concealed carry permits, when you get that, this discussion that we're having about what some of the implications are, what the legal consequences could be, what the psychological consequences could be, just to highlight the responsibility that it is if you make a decision to carry a firearm.
Yeah.
Okay, end of topic one. Coming up next, whenever you move.
Well, here you go. Here's more of What's Hot.
Although it saves it for everybody else on the beach. Again, we're joined by John and Willow and Jeff Wagner from News Radio 620 WTMJ. Okay, we all may have moved at least once. That means you fill out that change of address form for the post office. Some people found out changing your address on some sites could cost you big. Some end up on websites that run by private businesses that charge you anywhere from $17 to $24. You go online, you think, oh, I can fill out this form, it'll be taken care of for me, and they want a credit card.
Yeah, and the Postal Service takes a credit card too, but their fee is $1.
It's a buck. Yeah.
It's a buck, yeah. And it's unfortunately what they're doing is legal, because they do post it in fine print in the legal terms section. So that means that it's up to the consumer to be smart about what you're buying. And if it's a service that you need from a government entity or the U.S. Postal Service, which is kind of like a government entity, then you should probably go directly to the source.
See, I'm just stunned. The next thing you guys are going to tell me is that letter I got from the guy in Nigeria who wants access to my bank account, he's not really going to send me $500,000. I mean,
oh boy, it's $12 million, Jeff.
Yeah, right, exactly. Okay, well, I'll be waiting. But this is what's frustrating. I mean, I think the internet is a great thing, but it's also opened up for every scam artist around to take advantage of people who, like you guys say, don't read the fine print and don't realize that you can do this online for $1, or I think you can still do it for free.
Yes,
you can walk into your post office.
Old school,
write it out.
Cheap and frugal, walk into the post office. Well, in our final What's Hot, you can have your cake and eat it too. We found out that a new study finds that singing happy birthday can make the cake taste better. The ritual of singing before eating dessert increases your appreciation of the treat, and the food ends up tasting better, at least in your mind. Okay, so is that my excuse now to sing before I eat any sweet?
Always sing happy birthday before cupcakes. That's what I learned from this.
I like to sing C is for cookie before I have it.
No veggies, boo,
That's what I was
cookies.
wondering. Does it matter what you sing? Does it have to be happy birthday,
actually,
or could
it
it
is
be
happy
like a
birthday.
Jimmy Buffett tune or
It's,
something?
it's actually the ritual of preparing yourself for something that you
Celebration?
anticipate. Yeah, anticipate in a celebratory way. So just like if you spend all day preparing a great meal for a dinner party for friends, that food tastes amazing, even if as the cook you don't.
Okay,
eat it.
but
yeah,
just some advice though. If you're sitting out at a really fancy restaurant and you order that dessert, my guess is if you break into loud song, a lot of people still might look at you like you're nuts, but then you can explain, hey, this is why I'm doing it. It just makes me happy. I saw it on TV.
And it'll make you
There you
happy
go.
too.
Is there a Buffett song that applies to this situation?
Cheeseburger in Paradise.
There you go.
There
I'm
it
gonna have
is.
to look that one up, John.
There you go.
That's a little. That's a little. I
Not for
figured
cake,
Jeff would take
obviously,
us off the beaten path a little bit.
Well, okay, but Friday is Jimmy Buffett Day, so tune back in tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Right on.
All right. Until tomorrow, we're taking a break. John and Jeff, thanks. We'll be right back.